Alrighty, good evening everybody. So tonight we are going to make crispy Korean tofu and Korean bao bun burgers. I can't remember the exact name of it, but we'll find it. So I have pre-made a couple of bits, but I'm going to make all the stuff anyway, just to shorten how we're going. So I've put everything into my week. And I'm just going to start this one, the Korean bao beef sliders. They're pretty cool. Now, with every recipe, as you... Oh, hang on. Why is that not showing up that screen? Huh? Oh, hang on. Hang on. Later. Got it. Okay, there we go. That's better. All right. Now we're cooking with gas. All right. So they are pretty groovy. So with every recipe, as you know, picture at the start, picture at the end, and then we've got our ingredients, our prep, and you can see that. Say I just wanted to make the coleslaw. I just need to press on that step where the coleslaw starts, and if I tapped on that, it would jump straight to the coleslaw. You've also got assembly, and we've got utensils and hints and tricks, which is always really good to read because there's always different things that you find in there. Alrighty, let's go back up. Okay, start cooking. So lightly grease a varoma dish, so I've done that earlier. 60 grams of baby spinach, so of course we know that the TM6 weighs at 1 gram increments. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. And the next 220 grams of milk. Try not to overfill. Right. Okay. Whoop. Admit. Okay. Okay, so then insert measuring cup. And then next, so it's 30 seconds at speed 7, shows me where 7 is. And then while I'm doing that, so it says using a fine mesh sieve, strain the spinach milk into a jug. So I actually tried to use a sieve earlier today and it was a great big pain in the caboose. So I'm going to use my nut milk bag and it makes it a lot faster as well. So let me just scrape off the lid and then you can see. So it's just spinach and milk so far. And this one. Go, and I always go around the bowl. Okay. So and then add the spinach milk back in. So what I'm going to do, we've got our spinach milk there. I'll just tilt that down a little. Pour it straight into my nut milk bag. Has everybody used nut milk bags before? me know. So I'm just going to pull up and squeeze. Get most of it out there. These are actually really cool. I made the buns and the burgers earlier because they take a little bit of time and effort. And so I'll show you in a minute. Alright. A bit more. I want to get all the milk that we can. So then we've just got a bit of spinach pulp left, which is cool. Just wipe my hands. Okay, so pop our bowl back in, load the spinach milk back in. So it was a lot faster and a lot easier than what I tried to do earlier today. There we go. Then we've got 70 grams of white sugar. Now, of course, as always, if you don't want to put 70 grams in, don't put 70 grams in. But I'm just going to follow the recipe today. Ish. So 2 teaspoons of yeast. So I usually grab that one because I use enough yeast not to buy the packets. It becomes a bit of a waste for me if I use the little packets, so I just buy this. So 2 teaspoons of that. Now, when we put yeast or any of the other stuff, as I have done already. So you've got the sugar sitting on the knob there. Just scrape it off. And when you put the yeast in, go around the outside of the bowl so it doesn't actually sit on top of the blade knob and not get activated. Okay. Oh yeah, Jenny's made almond milk. That's awesome. Okay, so 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder. We just wipe that down. So this one is actually, I did have one before that was gluten-free. So especially if you have any friends who are gluten-free. There's so much gluten-free stuff out there nowadays. So 2.5, 2.5. There we go. So 20 grams of olive oil. So with liquid, we always pour, we don't always, but we pour full tilt and then pull up. There we go, about 5 grams before what you need. Insert measuring cup. Next, so it's 30 seconds at speed 2. So it's quite slow, and what I'll do is I'll start bringing this one up. So this one's going to be our crispy Korean tofu. And it says start cooking. So what I did earlier, here's something I prepared earlier, is it says place the bowl onto the lid and put almond milk into a bowl. So that's what I've done. And then it says, oh, Let's go next. 400 grams of plain flour. I hope everyone, let me know if you can't keep up, because I am going to change between the two recipes. So just let me know if I need to slow down a little bit. Okay, so 400 grams of plain flour. So it's 346, 377, 293. A dash for good luck. All right, and then a pinch of salt. So like I say every week, I actually mill my own salt so that I've got some ready for a pinch or a teaspoon or half a teaspoon. So a pinch for me is a big pinch. Insert measuring cup. And then it's 2 minutes, and this is our dough mode. So whenever you have a mode which has a picture, all you need to do is turn the silver dial 1 click. And there we go. So let me know if you can hear me as it's kneading. And then I'll keep talking.
Yes, we can hear you, Lisa.
Excellent. All right, so this is the coating for our tofu. So like I said, we've got our almond milk, and then we also have corn flour, flour, salt, garlic powder, aside, corn flour, flour, garlic powder, salt, and a touch of pepper. So what I've done with this, I've actually pre-made mine, but let's tilt that down and show you. So I always buy firm tofu. Firm as you can get is always good. And then I just cut it, so you press it so that you get some of the liquid out. And then I just cut it into squares. And with this one, you just pop it into your almond milk and then roll it into your flour mix. And that's it, it's all coated. And then you just do that with each of them. Like that. I've actually made up only half a batch because I've got more than enough to do a stack of tofu. And we've only got one tofu eater in the house. Well, 2, but tonight there's only 1. All right, so then I want to show you. So then I've actually shallow fried them. There's our tofu there, you can see that. And I've got it in my thermo server to keep it nice and warm while it waits. So they come out like that. Always better straight out of the fry pan so that they're crispy. But, you know, got to do what you got to do at the moment. Okay, so next, place it on our mat. So I've got my bread mat from my business kit, which is awesome. Now with bread and dough, rather than putting flour on, because it can actually, if you add too much flour, you can actually harden the dough. I'm going to use olive oil on my hands instead. So there's our lovely spinach green bao bun dough. I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm actually going to turn the bottom of the blades. Maybe a little bit stiff to start. So bread dough, or if you've got spaghetti, stuff like that. So I've got most of it out. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to come out of my recipe and I'm actually just going to do the flick. So if you want to flick off wet ingredients, I would dial it up to 10 for a second, but because it's dough and I just want to gently flick it off, I'm just going to go up to speed 5 for a second or two. So that's about 1.5 seconds.
Lisa, that was a handy tip that you just showed. I don't know whether everyone saw it, but your timer was up to 16 seconds and you wanted to set it back to 0.
Yes.
All you did was hold your finger on it and it set itself back to 0.
Yes, same with your temperature as well. You can do that.
Yeah.
Now with the dough that's left in there, I'm going to scrape around a little bit and then I'm going to use the blue tack method, I guess you could call it. So you grab a clump and then use that clump to collect up all the other ones. So this one's quite a sticky dough. So what I would actually do, I'm happy with that. I would actually put water in that and vinegar, and then I would go to my pre-clean mode. Oh, not that one, not sous vide. I would go to my pre-clean mode and I would set that to dough and then get the Thermomix clean it for me, and that's what I will do after. I've got a bunch of bowls today, so I'm just going to use those. All right, so let's pull that down a little, get a little bit more olive oil on my hands, probably a little too much, but that's all right. There we go. All right, so I am going to, so I'm going to go back to my recipe, and it says using a rolling pin, roll it into a rectangle. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to sit that there, and I'm going to get my other stuff started so that we get that going as well. Okay, so I'm just going to move the screen to the other Thermomix where I'm making the crispy Korean tofu. Okay. All right, so that was, okay, rinse mixing bowl. So that was the, that was mixing the flour for my crispy tofu. So now I'm making the sauce. So we've got 5 garlic cloves. And I'll move this over as well. Yep, there we go. So 5 garlic cloves, 10 grams of fresh ginger. So I've peeled that with my teaspoon and just chopped it into pieces. Insert measuring cup. So 5 seconds, speed 5. And then next, scrape down the sides. Got my different spatula. So if you can see there, it's chopped beautifully. So as I said again, scrape around the outside, tap it lightly on the inside. So 60 grams of brown sugar. Spoons in the drawer, I'm learning every week. To have more things ready. All right. So this sauce is almost exactly the same sauce as you use for the crispy Korean chicken. And that is fantastic. You coat the chicken wings or legs, and then you use this sauce and you coat them, and then you actually, my hubby air fries them. and he loves it. So daughter gets her tofu, hubby gets his chicken wings, and everybody's happy. So 60 grams of rice wine vinegar. So that's the one I use. Just Coles or Woolies. So I've found I've ended up with stacks of different rice vinegars, brown rice vinegar, rice wine vinegars, that sort of stuff. But buying all of the correct ones actually makes just the taste is beautiful rather than trying to substitute all the time. Pure maple syrup. So I buy that one, Coles and Woolies again. There we go, 60 grams. So, Korean chili paste. That one. There's actually several of them, and you can buy them in little tubs as well. I accidentally bought one with meat flavour as well once, so that goes in hubby stuff, but not in my daughter's stuff. So this is the plain one, and I got that at an Asian grocery. So I put in only about 30. If I was making for hubby, I'd put in 50. So 30 grams of ketchup. And as much as I hate that sort of stuff, I actually bought the ketchup rather than tomato sauce. There we go. Or you can actually make your own. 20 grams of sesame oil. Go. Dark soy sauce, again just from the Asian grocery. Go. And then this one is 10 second speed 3. So you can see I'm up to step 26 out of 49. So you know where you are within the recipe. Keep measuring cup inserted and then cook for 10 minutes, 100, speed 1. And so then while we're doing that, we'll get this going. All right, so it says to roll it out 30 centimeters by 20. So I've got the 28 there. I did this one with the other bread mat before, and it didn't have the actual rings on it. So I got my... So you want to try and make it as square as possible. And as even across the dough as possible. Any questions?
Lisa, can I just say something for those who might be gluten-free, not so much for the bao buns, but for the tofu. Instead of using plain flour, they can use rice flour or tapioca flour or a combination of with the corn flour. The corn flour must be less quantity than the rice flour and tapioca flour. I wouldn't use all tapioca flour because it has a certain flavour which can be quite strong, but I find that either of those work really well. as
that's
well.
great. And then always, you know, we always used to buy the nurse's corn flour, but that's actually the one that's not gluten-free. So I discovered. So I just buy I think it's the White Wings or the Coles and Woolies brand, are the gluten-free ones. Okay, so with these burr buns, what we do is, hopefully everyone can see, I'm just going to roll these. So we roll it and then we cut it and then we steam them. So I am going to roll and then try and stretch out a little. Stretch out the ends. Sort of try and have the ends as, you know, not too skewiff. All right, so some people cut with a knife, but I actually cut with fishing line, or you can cut with dental floss if you like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under and halfway and go across. And then, because we want 12, so I'm going to go halfway and across. And if you can see that, you can still see the little swell there. So then under, across, under, and across. And then once you've done all of them, so I'll just do a few because I've got my ones from earlier. So then it says to actually sit it in the oiled varoma. So next, yep. So pop them all into our varoma. And then leave them for an hour. So I didn't separate them quickly enough. So I like to make things stretch out and pop that. If you squish that down, that will go as well. And then you do the same with the bottom. And then when you obviously cut it up, but I'm just going to put it away for now. And then later on in the recipe, you actually put boiling water in. So you leave this to sit in the varoma in a warm spot. So one good idea for that is to fill your thermoserver with hot water and pop your varoma on top. And that actually warms it. And then they rise a bit, and then you steam them for 15 minutes. And here is some of I have prepared earlier. So I've cut those ones. How groovy do they look?
They look great, Lisa.
Yeah, little buns. So I probably would have let them rise a little bit more. I think those ones that I just did then will probably rise a bit more. And what I should have done with these end bits is pop them upside down and flatten them a little. And that would have made the full 12 the right shape. So that's those. Okay, so then cover with the varoma for an hour. Then we've got our next bowl. So we've got 4 spring onions. Hang on, let's come back to here. There we go. I'll pop this back over. How's that? All right, So 4 spring onions, shallots cut into thirds. So because these were much bigger ones, I've actually just used 3, but it's up to you. 1 carrot cut into pieces, like that. The next 20 grams of olive oil. Same thing again. Pull up at 15. All right. Next, so 2 seconds, speed 7. That's just going to chop. So if you think of your speeds as modes as well, you've got, oh, keep measuring cup inserted. So there's our checked stuff. So 1 and 2 is your stirring, 5 to 7 is your chopping, 5 is for salads and for emulsifying, and then 8, 9 and 10 is your obliterating and milling. Alright, so 3 minutes, speed 1, we'll get that going. Does anyone have any, think the buns would keep? Yes. As Liz said, freeze. So you can freeze everything. Yep, freeze, baking paper between them. Yep. Steam them again from frozen, definitely. But with the burgers that I'm making, I would actually, the burgers I would freeze them raw. Rather than freezing them cooked, I would freeze them raw. But same thing, put baking paper in between to stop your freezer burn. Same with if you'd made wontons, I make the wontons and then freeze them raw on a tray, separated, so that they freeze, and then put them in a container. And then I would just steam them from frozen. All right, so 40 seconds left. What I am going to do is put the sauce in. So I've got my little thermos jug. I've actually got 2 of them, but I'm only going to need the smaller one today. So I do my tofu, have that sitting in a thermo server, have the sauce in a thermo server as well, or thermo jug. Alright. Any more questions? Oop, there we go. So it says put it in a serving bowl or a large bowl to keep warm. That is just the most delicious sauce. And we also keep this sauce and the other bao bun, and there's another bao bun sauce, and use them for salads. So if you don't use all of the sauce in your dish, and some of the sauces I also freeze later as well. Get that one. So I'm going to scrape as much out, and then I'm actually going to just add my water. Even though the recipe itself asked me to rinse the bowl, I'm going to be cheeky and not do that. So there's my sauce for my tofu. Yep, next. So set aside a mixing bowl for 5 minutes. So while I put this on, that can be cooling. So next I'm going to move back to my tofu screen. So it says rinse mixing bowl, but as I said, I'm going to be a bit of a rebel today. All right, place a litre of water in, because now we're going to steam our rice and our broccoli.
Lisa, you just need to move the above camera to that TM.
Yep. Ruby, how's that? All right, there we go. On the knocker, nice. Okay. So then we're going to put some salt. So a teaspoon and a half of salt. So it's going to be about that. Is everybody a pedantic rule follower, or are you a bit of a chucker like I am? Okay, so it's simmering basket. So I've got this one. Sit it in there. And then 200 grams of long grain rice. I'm actually going to use jasmine tonight because that's what I've got. So there's lots of different ways. There are several different ways of cooking rice in the TM6 now. You can actually do it as we are today in the basket, but there's also a rice cooking mode, where you put the rice in the base of the bowl. Okay, so measuring cup. Now with this basket, I actually press it onto the silver vein here and it locks in. Then we do that, and then so 5 seconds, speed 4. So it's important when you cook your rice to actually wash it, especially when you're doing rice modes. You actually get a better result if you rinse it. Alrighty. So keep measuring cup inserted, and then it's 8 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 4. Now it's the speed 4 that actually lifts the water up so that it goes through the rice to cook it. So if you had store-bought mince and you don't want it to break down, as sometimes it does in the bowl, you can actually put it in the basket and have the liquid, so long as there's enough liquid, at speed 4, and it will actually cook the mince in the basket. There we go. All right, so now that's going. Let's move back to our bao buns and our burgers. There we go. So that's about 5 minutes. So 250 grams. So I've got beef mince and pork mince. Like I said, I made it earlier, so I've got half each ready to go. Or you can use, if you've got the half left over, you can use it for other things, such as your wontons that I talked about. So 254, 250 grams of pork mince. Throw that in there as well. Okay, 40 grams of breadcrumbs. There. So tonight I'm actually using crummies. You can use whatever you want, whatever you like. From 7, close enough. So 2 egg yolks. So because I've done this twice, I've now got 4 egg whites. I'm going to do something with that tomorrow. Something meringue. 20 grams of soy sauce. 20 grams of chili paste. So I'm actually going to use my this one again. Gochujang. I know I'm saying it wrong, apologies. $10 grams of sesame oil. So the other good thing is if you are making Korean food, a lot of the ingredients are repeated. Oh, a little bit more sesame oil than I thought. 10 grams of brown sugar. That's enough. How are we all going? Good. Quarter of a teaspoon of ground ginger. So I have most of my spices in these containers, but I found even in these ones with I normally have a seal there, my garlic powder and my onion powder were still getting solidifying, so I'm just leaving them in the jar for now. Oh, quarter of a teaspoon doesn't seem much. Three pinches of black pepper, 2 big ones. Okay, so this is a video that the Thermix is going to show me how to put my spatula in whilst it's mixing food. So all the time they're adding more videos to our recipes. There's a really good one in the when you make fresh pasta. It shows you all the different ways of shaping your pasta. So I'm going to do that. Insert the spatula. So it's 10 seconds. It's already on reverse, and it's speed 4. So that's just an aid with mixing. That. So that's almost done. I'm just gonna stir with the spatula. There we go. So what it says is wearing gloves or wet hands. Make your 12 equal portions of 80 grams each. I actually found that I got 10, so I would maybe do 65 to maybe 65 grams. I was thinking about it earlier. And what you can do to weigh it is you can actually put a bowl. You can either put a bowl on the lid, but of course I'm about to clean my bowl out, so I'm not going to. And I'm going to put my bowl there. You want to make sure that it's not liquid so it won't go in. I'm going to go up here, and I can actually bring my scales up whilst I'm following a recipe. So I'm going to bring my scales up. Weigh in 80 grams. Oh, and then make a burger. There we go, and then you just repeat that 12 times. So I'm actually going to pop that back in there for a second. And I am going to, I've actually got everything. Is anyone able to share their screen? Otherwise, I'll pop my screen on. If anybody.
What do you want us to share?
The latest deals. Let me just open up. There we go. Library. Okay. I am going to share screen. So I know most of you own a Thermomix, but if you know friends, if anyone could talk about the pizza oven, like the two different deals, and I'll go and wash a bowl. If someone can do that. Claire or Liz?
Oh, hi. With the pizza oven, it's, yeah, I'd have to say a favourite in our house. We've had one since Christmas time, and it really does heat up a pizza pretty quickly. That's one of the deals at the moment. If you purchase a TM6 between now and 9 a.m. Monday, the 22nd of August, you get to save 50% off the Havana pizza oven. So the pizza oven comes with a couple of trays, or as you can see in the picture, and you can also buy a cast iron dish or a like a frying pan that you can pop into the pizza oven as well to cook other things. I've cooked steak in mine, which was quite good. After I did the sous vide in the TM6, and as I say, you can make the pizza dough and make your small pizzas. You could even make the pizza dough and get it ready and then freeze them so that they're ready to go at another time. Yeah, it's a lot of fun using the pizza oven. Great for any time of the year. And then the other deal at the moment, we have the thermo server, the oval one with the flavours of India, and this is available now until the 1st of September. So if you have any questions, yeah, ask away.
I'll just add that the oval thermo server is the new black range, which are stunning, absolutely stunning. And the Flavors of India is a new release, Flavors of India. So if you might have the old book, you'll find that there'll be newer recipes and very authentic. The flavors are very authentic.
Yeah, it's one of my two favourite books. Okay, so I've shaped patties and I have cooked them. All right, so place on a plate and refrigerate for 30 minutes to firm up. So now I'm going to make the, oh, actually, no, let's move back to this one. And it says, place Varoma dish into position. And what I'm going to do, there we are, next, so 350 grams of broccoli florets. Because we've only got one person eating tonight, I'm just going to make as much broccoli as she would eat. And then I've actually made enough rice for a couple of, I've made all the rice. But the broccoli I like to do fresh each time. So always when you use the Varoma, always make sure that there is space around for the steam to go around. So secure the Varoma lid. There we go. Next, so 6 minutes Varoma, speed 4. There's 2. Hang on, let's just stop, go back. Turn speed selected to speed 4. Okay. So I thought. Okay, so that's another 6 minutes on Varoma. So now we'll move back to this one. and make our what do you call it? Coleslaw. Right. 1 carrot cut into pieces. So I've got my other carrot here. Then capsicum de-seeded. So I bought some beautiful mini sweet capsicums the other day. So I'm going to use them. 1 spring onion. Here. And then next, insert measuring cup. Pop that on. So 2 seconds, speed 5. Tidy up my bench. Okay, so scrape down the sides of the mixing bowl.
And the coleslaw salad, Lisa, is so easy to make.
Yes. And so don't forget as well that if that hasn't chopped enough for you, you can always go back a step and chop something again. And especially with salads and stuff, just do 2 or 3 seconds, then have a look, then do another second. Because you can go from beetroot salad to beetroot soup in about 7 or 8 seconds. Trust me, done it. So 150 grams of Chinese cabbage. Grams of mayonnaise. Yeah, you can actually make your own mayonnaise. A really good one is the cooked egg mayonnaise. That's a beautiful one. But we don't eat enough mayonnaise in this house, so I am just going to use the container one. And I don't like as much mayonnaise on my food. So I'm just going to put half the amount in. So you can be a slavish rule follower, or once you get confident, you can, you know, decide for yourself. So 1/4 teaspoon of sriracha. She's right in front of me. Oh, here it is.
Lisa, what was the mayo that you used?
That was our praised traditional job. I could have also bought some of the Kewpie mayonnaise.
That's my favourite.
Yeah, that would have been really cool too. But yet again, I'm just using what's in the cupboard, and then I'll crack out the Kewpie one. So 1/4 teaspoon. So this is obviously quite hot. Not going to get much of that in there. There we go. For those chickens of us that aren't big chili eaters. Okay, insert measuring cup. So it's 2 seconds, reverse speed 4. Okay, place in an airtight container with your sesame seeds. Ooh, that looks good. So just in 2 seconds, it mixed it really well. And so I've got my black roasted sesame seeds and my white roasted sesame seeds. So I'm actually just gonna do that. It says refrigerate until needed. So then the next step is to do your black ones again, that's all right. The next step is to steam your buns and then make your burgers. Now I've obviously done that beforehand, so I'm going to place up. Let's tilt that down. Oh, no. So here's the ones I prepared earlier. Oh, it's bottoms, there we go, and tops. So there's my 2 buns. I've cut them in half. Use another spoon. And there's my burgers I made earlier. Shush. Okay. There's my burgers and my buns. Put them on top. And then of course you can, you know, add some more mayo or whatever you like. Then, so that's one dish. Matching dish. Okay, so our other one has finished. So always tilt away from yourself with the barema. I put this upside down. Keeps your bench clean. So there's our broccoli done. And then we've got our rice is done. And I will just scoop out of. So I normally would put that in my bigger thermoserver. What I'm going to do is just turn this around and lift up and scoop out some rice. How's everybody going out there? Actually, so I did want to show you a trick. So pull back and you can actually lean your basket to let it drain. And then slow down for a second.
Lisa, can you put the above camera just to show us clearer what you've done there, please?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, can you see that?
Perfect, perfect.
So I've just tilted it so it sits there ready to drain. And then I pick it up and bring it over to my thermoserver and turn it upside down and tap. Oh, and then pretend you didn't see that. There we go. And there's our rice, all ready to go. Bowl, 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 over here. Right. So we'll pop our rice in. And our broccoli. If I can catch it. There we go. And then our tofu. Excuse the fingers. Go. And then, oh, move that out the way. And then our gorgeous sauce. And there's our crispy Korean tofu.
Looks great, Lisa.
Yeah. So there's our 2 dishes all done. Oh, burger slid off.
That's why it's called a slider.
Nice, Liz.
Slides all over the place. Definitely. All right. Does anybody have any questions about anything?
Mel said fantastic.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so hopefully I've inspired you to try a few different things. And yeah, get out there, get all the different flavors and chilies and vinegars and all that sort of stuff and the different soys. It makes all the difference to use the correct ones. So awesome. Look lovely. Yes. Definitely try the bao buns. And there's another recipe as well that you steam the curved bao buns. That's the leftover roast pork, I think, bao buns. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The sauce is fantastic. The buns they take a little time because you have to let them rest in between each step. Totally worth it though, totally worth it. All right, and don't forget, every week if you bring 2 friends along, you can qualify for host rewards. So please don't forget to do that. Anyone that you think might want to see a Thermomix in action, or even someone who has an old Thermomix, or someone that just needs a bit of re-inspiring, please bring them along. Yeah, the more the merrier.
That's great, Lisa. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming along. Do my best, Sal, this evening.
Looks great.
Lovely. All right, I best go feed the family. Thanks very much for coming along tonight. Please make sure you come along next week as well. Same time, same day, different theme. And if you have any suggestions, please let us know. I'm always looking for something new to make. Yeah, so please feel free to suggest. Alrighty.
Thanks again, Lisa.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good
See
night,
you.
everyone.
Bye then.
Thanks
Thanks,
for coming
Lisa.
along. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.